Right.
The trade story, there's a top editorial in the Journal this morning. It's titled The Trade Canary. It reads in part, with the world economy showing strains, the chances of a significant U.S. growth slowdown can no longer be ruled out. We hope someone at the White House is listening to this trade canary. The chances of a deal have seemed slim, but the logic of a truce grows stronger as the stock market falls further. National Economic Council Director Larry Kudlow highlighted America's requirements for a deal with China yesterday on Varney Watch.
Any deal between the two countries has got to be in American interest, without any question. And it's got to include IP theft. It's got to include changes in ownership. It's got to stop the forced transfer of technology. It's got to go to zero tariffs and zero non-tariff barriers. It's got to have enforceability. It's got to have strict timetables. It has to have, frankly, more than we've seen so far.
Jonas, does this administration stick to its guns and make sure China changes its behavior and risk this uncertainty and disruption in the market?
I think so, because I don't think Trump thinks it's disrupting the market, and I think he's right. I mean, look, the market can be disrupted by any kind of story. There was crashes over the Soviet debt default in the 90s that really was probably over. There was a taxi cab default in this sort of the Asian content. Anything could trigger investors to panic, but as far as actual economic behavior, again, this is almost up there with the 70s inflation. Like, we don't really know what having a relatively low tariff rate is going to do. Like, the last time they always talk about Smoot Harley, whatever, that was during the Depression. Like, a relatively low rate across, it could be there permanently. All of Europe has VATs that are higher, value-added taxes that are higher than these tariffs. It doesn't, like, lead to crises. Like,
but doesn't the market want a deal? I mean, if we were to get a deal with China, doesn't that trigger a big rally?
If the deal, the deal couldn't be too favored to one side, because it would hurt foreign stocks, which have been lousy compared to ours. So I don't know if they need a deal to go back up. I think at this point the panic's there, and I think there's other issues going on that are beyond tariffs. Again, it could trigger fear, but it's almost irrational. I don't think there's that much weight on the economy from the tariff threat at this point.
Mitch?
Yeah, no, I agree with Jonas, and I think the other thing that's going on in China is there are reforms in China to sort of get some of their crazy lending under control, and that is, contributing, amongst other things, to their economy slowing down. So they're getting their own house in order there, and that could there's good news in that for the global economy. Just in the interim, it's not great news.
But no, I just want to add really quickly one thing that in terms of just policy, the tariffs and some of the trade policy out of the White House, it's made Washington and the regulatory environment more swampy or swampier, not less swampy, which is what the president ran on. And it doesn't make longer term sense to complicate doing business here in the United States, which is what it's done.
I wonder, when the new Congress starts with the Democrats in the majority in the House, if that mixes into the China story. What will they want the president to do? Will they put pressure on him to do a deal?
Well, they have to ratify the NAFTA 2.0.
USMCA, right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So we'll see how they feel about trade in general.
Which Nancy Pelosi, if she wanted to, could throw a wrench into that, because right now it's got fast-track status, and she could introduce a rule, assuming she is the House Speaker, to throw a wrench.
Which would remove the markets further, in my view. I mean, I think the trade story is expected. They want a deal, then they're expecting a deal.
Do they care, the Democrats, about the American people, about the health of the economy, or do they care about themselves and just going after Trump? Well, anti-Trump, anti-Trump, anti-Trump.
When was free trade a Democrat thing anyway? Like, this was half their policy at one point. Like, unions wanted to not outsource jobs. So I don't think they're going to we got to forget what Trump's doing abroad. We got to make it better for China. I don't see that coming either.
That's true.